Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a user named WanderlustBimbo in the 2X chromosomes subreddit. The post is titled, "My former doctor intentionally misdiagnosed me. You do not believe me, do you? What if I told you it happened twice and I nearly died? This is the most painful story of my life. The one I am encouraged to write a book about. The one I am still in partial denial over, and the one that sent me to the emergency room over 50 times in 18 months. And it all started with an incorrect MRI interpretation, gone far past the point of wrong. As a bit of backstory, I started having severe debilitating migraines in summer 2021 after my second round of COVID. By the time I first saw this doctor, I had already trialed and failed multiple treatments and medications. He ordered an MRI. It came back normal, but he diagnosed me with a rare condition called a cerebrospinal fluid leak. I scheduled surgery, unaware that this was not true. I did not have a leak. I only became worse after surgery, and my pain was repeatedly ignored and diminished, because I was not giving birth. The doctor ordered an angiogram. It was normal, but he diagnosed me again with intracranial hypertension and prescribed blood thinners. I became so sick I could not get out of bed, eat, or even properly use the bathroom. I never knew pain like this even existed. In between all of this, I began to go to the emergency room. Before that, I had never experienced such rude and sexist comments in my life, how I was being dramatic or how I was a drug seeker and so on. The female medical staff was much kinder to me than the male doctors. I would eventually learn the truth, that I had been misdiagnosed twice and severely injured as a result. I also learned I am not the first this doctor has hurt. He knew he was misdiagnosing me and did it anyway. I know how crazy that probably sounds. I learned this via medical records he never thought I would get a hold of, as he blatantly refused to let me read them. I have not been the same since that surgery. It is like a part of my soul has died and I am now morbid and bitter. I never had anything he diagnosed me with, and the blood thinners were slowly killing me. The point of this story is to advocate for yourself as a patient for anything you might be struggling with. It could save your life. I hope no one here has ever experienced something similar. Edit. I am not diminishing childbirth. For heaven's sake, the doctor said this to me and that is why I included it. Please, to anyone who is offended by that part, please calm down. I know childbirth is awful. That is why I am not having children. Second edit, I am truly so grateful for the support you all have given me. It means a lot. I will take some time to try to answer any questions and respond to comments and stories. Thank you all so very much. You are wonderful. Update. First, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you who offered support, advice, and to those who have shared their stories and experienced similar things or dealt with doctors minimizing your pain. I am truly deeply sorry. This community is so amazing and I could not be more appreciative of everyone here. I wanted to give an update because this is something that still weighs on me every single day. I have some positive news. I believe I have finally found the right attorney. She will not only help me, but also wants to look into having my former doctor's license revoked through the state medical board. I have heard more and more about how this doctor has done this to other patients. I have even spoken to a few of them and feel so awful knowing they too have suffered at the hands of a man wanting to be like Dr. Death. For a bit of bittersweet news, I recently had a test and learned how bad the nerve damage is. I'm looking at having nerve decompression surgery in the head, skull, and brain to help alleviate symptoms. It is not too invasive, but it will be a hard few weeks of recovery in a hospital, and I have many allergies to medications. Still, I am hoping for the best. Thank you so much to everyone here. You all are wonderful. Update 2. I recently discovered that my original post and first update were shared on another subreddit. I truly did not expect that. Most of the comments were very supportive, but I want to address some of the concerns that were raised. My story is not fake. It never was, and it never will be. I wish it was. This story was not fabricated because of any supposed hatred of men as a few individuals suggested. I do not hate men. I dislike some of their behaviors, but I would absolutely hope someone would call me out if I behaved in that way. It is a mutual feeling. I would not expect anyone to tolerate me acting poorly. One topic people raised was my medical records and diagnoses. I will try to be as clear as possible. My medical records contain damning information. 2 of my correct diagnoses are documented in these records. However, the diagnoses given verbally were completely different. I was treated for conditions I did not have. Yes, I do know that blood thinners do not treat intracranial hypertension, as that is usually managed with Diamox, but blood thinners were what I was prescribed. In other words, my former doctor knew he was misdiagnosing me. He was fully aware he is not unintelligent. He is likely a narcissist. Early this year, I developed hemiplegia with migraines. I do not know why, and perhaps I never will. The same goes for the cluster headaches. I do not know what caused them, and there is ambiguity because this situation is ongoing. More information still needs to be uncovered. I am seriously considering nerve decompression surgery or even removal of the occipital nerves. I found the stories of other patients, both men and women, online and through Reddit. Some people thought I was only recounting the experiences of women, but this is not the case. These stories will not be included in my lawsuit. I only sought them out to see if there was a pattern of negligence on my former doctor's part, which turned out to be true. This doctor has harmed both men and women. I do not believe he was only harming women. Now, for a brief update, the case is underway. It is very unlikely to go to trial. I have too much evidence against him for there to be any major defense. I am hopeful, but the ordeal is incredibly emotional for me. It is painful to know that people assume I am lying, but it is Reddit. These people do not know me, and I am not going to spend hours trying to convince strangers of my truth. They were not there. Thank you to everyone who has offered kindness and support. I truly appreciate it. I will update one final time when my case is settled. Until then, I'm just trying to heal both psychologically and physically. Update 3. I just wanted to share this without it becoming a long wall of text. I was admitted to the hospital last night after what I believe to be a 7-day and counting migraine. It took me making a scene and probably coming off as a bit ridiculous for anyone to take me seriously enough. Usually, when I visit the emergency room, I get strange looks and often hurtful comments. Maybe it is because migraines are invisible to most onlookers, but I digress. After what turned into a 24-hour visit with multiple doctors, imaging, rounds of toroidal infusions, and even lidocaine injections to the skull, I spoke with a migraine specialist. This is a first for me. Until today, I had never met someone who specializes in them. The discussion was long, but for the first time in what feels like years, I was heard. My former doctor caused a nerve disorder, something that is rare and, if left untreated, can become excruciating. I have scar tissue running along my occipital nerves and am now going to undergo a specialized surgery that few doctors recommend and even fewer perform. The healing time from the procedure is 3 years. I will be 27 years old by that time, having spent a total of 6 years trying to understand and identify what my former doctor truly caused. This post is not intended to paint me as a victim. It stands as a cautionary note to anyone, especially women. If something seems wrong with a medical treatment plan put in place for you, always seek other opinions. Do not end up in the same position I am in. I will experience complications for the rest of my life because I believe someone who deliberately hurts his patients for money and control. Final update. My former doctor intentionally misdiagnosed me. To everyone who sent kind messages throughout my storyline updates, and to everyone who commented advice, shared similar experiences, and offered words of encouragement alongside words of sorrow, thank you from the bottom of my heart. This community is truly wonderful, and I am so grateful for everyone here. I did not think I would be posting an update like this so soon. I wish I could say this update is positive, but unfortunately it is not. I will start by confirming that everything I have said about this doctor is true. My story is true, backed up by more than 10 inches of concrete, concise evidence. The other testimonies about him are true. The fact that others have been harmed by this doctor is horrifying. I cannot tell you how many times I have broken down sobbing because someone else reached out to me with a story like mine. The attorney I believed was helping me, he lied to me too. I suspect he knows this doctor and is perhaps friends with him. I believe this doctor is paying people off to avoid legal consequences. I have never been told I did not have a case, but no one has been willing to initiate a lawsuit against this single doctor. Other doctors face lawsuits that I can find through public records. Not this one. Not once have I found anything other than review after review detailing the horrors this man has inflicted on others. It started in late 2020 with a woman who likely tried to sue but was denied justice. She was left with brain damage and underwent specialized brain recovery treatments as a consequence of this man. The reviews continue to pile up. Some are so frightening I again start crying. My diagnosis is final 3 years after the surgery that nearly killed me. I still have residual effects from the blood thinners I was lied to about and ordered to take. I have nightmares depicting this man chaining me to an operating table to finish the job he started. I cannot visit a doctor's office without having a panic attack. I visited the emergency room over 70 times as a result of the damage. My veins are shot, unable to give blood without collapsing, stubborn during intravenous treatments that burn when pushed into the line. I no longer fear needles, but the pokes are becoming more and more painful, with scar tissue clouding the veins to protect them. There are days when all I do is ruminate and cry. The pain I will experience forever will serve as a reminder that I may never truly be free from the lies I was told, from the more than 30 medications I tried and failed, and from the weight gain I experienced from all the steroids and increased hunger. I will be taking a break from Reddit. I was approved for a disability and need time to reflect and heal emotionally. The scars will always remain. This upcoming surgery scares me, but I have hope even when I should not. This doctor still practices and still harms. Justice is rarely seen in today's world, but I am far from finished. I will not stop until this man is out of practice. My anger toward him is far too strong for me to give up. I will find a way to make it happen for myself and for everyone else he has harmed. I am not done fighting. Thank you all for your help and support. College Prestige said, okay, I am going to be super contrarian here. Bad doctors absolutely exist, misdiagnoses absolutely exist, and malicious doctors absolutely exist. That said, I do find it strange how she cannot actually find an attorney willing to represent her, and I do find it odd that her suspected reasoning is that the attorney in the last update knows the doctor, or that she is so sure he lied to her. Also, the attorney in an earlier update was a woman, and the latest one was a man. Did she already switch attorneys? Extraplanet Janet said, I worked with a person whose lower spinal nerves were severely damaged by a surgeon's blatant malpractice. In that case, he was actually sued and had to pay a settlement, but he still practiced medicine for many more years. Meanwhile, she suffered daily, lost her ability to perform many daily life activities, and was dismissed as a drug seeker by most of her subsequent doctors because she was an older woman who just wanted relief from debilitating constant pain. Sometimes, life is very unfair. This next post was made in the True Off My Chest subreddit by a throwaway account. The post is titled, I think my older sister thinks her boyfriend is cheating on her with me. I do not know if I should be asking for advice because I honestly do not know what to do. For more context, my older sister is 22 and her boyfriend and I are the same age, 19. I will call my sister Kate and her boyfriend Adam, which are not their real names. Adam and I were initially acquaintances. We were both in the same year and class in high school and are now in the same university studying the same subject. We were never close enough to be friends, but after he started dating Kate, we did become friends. Okay, friends, since we have a lot in common. I must mention that I have no interest in or any feelings for Adam, but when Adam and I kind of became friends, my sister did not like it, which is understandable, so I kept my distance like she wanted. However, Adam and I still ended up speaking because we have a few classes together, but we only really talk about school, class-related things, or anything related to Kate. Adam had been invited to Kate's house for dinner, and he asked me if I wanted a ride home in his car since we were still going to the same place after all. I did not think much of it, so I agreed. We had just come from evening classes, it was dark outside, and I was too exhausted. Most of the time during the ride, I was actually asleep, so we did not even talk at all. When we got into the house, I was heading up to my room when Kate grabbed me, pulled me back, and asked why Adam and I came back together. Adam immediately tried to tell her why, but she started shouting at him and telling him to stop talking for me and to stop defending me too. Her shouting caused my parents to rush to us. She then started screaming at me, telling me to stop being jealous and to find my own man to drive me home. She said she had noticed everything and that she hated how I think every man wants me, and she called me desperate too. She was also tightly grabbing me, digging her nails into my wrist, which hurt, so I yanked my arm away and she shoved me. Adam tried to hold her back, but she began to scream and cry for him to stop defending me and that he was her boyfriend, not mine. My parents tried to calm her down, but she was shaking and breathing heavily and fast. She was also looking at me, and I felt, and still feel, so shaken up by the scene. My mom started yelling at me to leave the room until Kate was better and said I was triggering her more by being there. I felt confused and accused. I tried to tell them that I had no idea what I did wrong and tried to explain, but my sister started making strange sounds while shaking and panting and glaring at me, which honestly scared me. My mom yelled at me to leave again, and I did. I heard them ask Adam to leave too, and he also did. Later, he texted me asking if my sister was okay, but honestly, I have been too scared to leave my room. I feel a bit scared that my sister might do something to me. I have honestly cried a lot and feel shaken up from seeing my sister like that. I do not know if it was a panic attack or a breakdown, but she looked more angry than anything. I feel a bit responsible for her reaction since she told me before to stay away from Adam. So I wish I had never taken the ride home with him. I do not know who to talk to about this, and I'm still in my room. I know I have said this a lot already, but I am genuinely scared to leave my room because of everything. It feels like my parents both think it is my fault that my sister acted that way. Update. Sorry for the delay in posting an update. I took a break from my phone and social media due to harassment, which I will mention later in this post. I would like to thank everyone who gave me advice and encouragement. I did not really expect it, so I am very grateful. First, I want to acknowledge that everyone was right. I should have left my house for some time after Kate had such a reaction towards me. After Kate's meltdown about a week ago, Adam actually began keeping his distance from Kate and our family. I did the same. I only left my room to go to school or to get dinner, which I ate in my room. My mother also advised me to do that because she was worried about how Kate would act towards me, especially since Adam was not talking to her very much at that point. However, Adam still texted me occasionally if he had something to tell me about school, but he would not even mention Kate. About 3 days after that happened, I was at school and received a text from Kate. She basically told me that she hated me and that if I came home that day, she would actually kill me. I was so confused. I did not know what I had done since I had not spoken to her for some time. I forwarded the message to my parents and was also upset since she was threatening me out of nowhere and insulting me a lot as well. Kate called me, and when I answered, she was crying and screaming at me, saying it was my fault, that I never wanted to see her happy, and that I took away someone so important to her just because I did not have a man for myself. I tried to tell her I did not know what had happened, but she kept repeating, "Liar, it's your fault. Liar, it's your fault." After I hung up, I went to ask Adam about it. He told me he had ended things with Kate because she had started not only calling his phone a lot, but also calling his parents and texting his friends on Instagram, asking them to talk to him so that he would talk to her again. Adam also said she had started threatening him as well, threatening her own life if he left her, saying that if he actually left her, she would kill herself and it would be his fault. I did not believe him at first since I had never seen or heard of my sister behaving like that. He showed me the text as proof and told me he could not handle being in such a relationship because he was now afraid of her. He also said he was scared of me or interacting with me in case Kate would hurt me again because of it. I called my mother and tried to explain everything to her after I finished all my classes. I even had Adam speak to her in case she would not believe me or would not believe what Adam said, but my mother just started yelling at me. She told me what I was doing was wrong, communicating with someone who caused my sister so much pain, and even trying to get her to talk to him. She then refused to speak to Adam or even hear the reason he broke up with Kate, saying that all he did was hurt Kate and that me continuing to speak to him meant I did not care about my sister. I then told her how Kate was threatening me, and she told me that it was just out of anger and that I should stay away from Adam if I did not want to make Kate angrier. I kept trying to get her to understand how I felt, but she kept dismissing me and yelling at me so much that I cried and had to end the call. I stayed at school with Adam for some time, and we talked about what I should do, mostly because I was scared of going home and wanted to talk to someone who understood me, not to trigger Kate. Kate was spamming me with texts asking if I was with Adam and what was taking me so long to go home. She called me many times, and when I did not answer, she called me through my mother's phone. As soon as I answered and realized it was her, I hung up after she said she knew I was with Adam. I honestly felt so exhausted by all of this, and I finally got up the courage to ask a friend who stays in the dorms if I could stay with her. I told her everything, and since we are close, I have been here for a few days. I told my parents that I was with a friend to prepare for some exams. Both of them, especially my father, insist I go home, especially since I am the youngest. They do not trust me to be away from home since I have nothing with me, but honestly, I am just scared to go home, so I do not care. My parents think I am overreacting about Kate's threats. They even made me speak to her on the phone, and she told me she did not mean the things she said, but I do not believe her. My parents say I'm trying to ruin Kate's reputation by involving others in family matters. How does that even make sense? I had to turn my phone off for a while because Kate kept calling and texting threats and insults to me constantly. Whenever I told my parents, they just made excuses for her. On Saturday, all three of them came to my school to try to find me. I was lucky not to run into them, but Adam and one of my other friends were unfortunately spotted by Kate. Adam did not want to talk to them, so he avoided them and warned me. My friend who did talk to them told me that my sister asked her if I was staying with Adam, and my parents told her to tell me to come home and take their calls. So I apologize if this post feels all over the place. I tried to explain everything for everyone who wanted an update. I am still so stressed about everything, and keeping my distance is not helping like I thought it would. I am constantly worried that my sister or my parents will find me and that I will have to speak to them about all this, which I do not want to do. Still, I know I will have to go home soon since my parents are insisting on it. Update 2. I am once again overwhelmed by the support, advice, and encouragement I have received. Thank you so much. Once again, I took everyone's advice. The hardest part was having to move out of the house I grew up in. It was really difficult to go back. I felt worried, but decided to return home today when both of my parents were there, and I brought a friend with me just in case. I had time to do this since all my classes were in the evening. My family has an obsession with maintaining a good family image, and I think I surprised them by coming back so suddenly and with a guest. First, I sat down with my parents, and my friend went upstairs to my room to begin packing and to give us some space. My parents started talking in hushed tones, basically telling me to stop being dramatic and to stop dragging the issue out. They said what happened was already over and that I should just forget it and come back home. I asked if I could stay in campus accommodation or in the apartments close to school since I have my final exams starting on Thursday and wanted to focus solely on my studies. I thought they would agree as they are usually strict about school, but they refused immediately. My father said that I was not allowed to do that until I was older, and my mother said she knew my request was because of Kate. I told them I had already made my decision and would go ahead with it regardless. My father then threatened to stop paying my fees. He also told me to think about what the rest of our family would say and insisted I would have plenty of time at home during summer break to reconcile with my sister. But the thought of spending so much time in the same place as Kate filled me with dread. I had already asked the school about summer housing. They allow it, but it costs extra and I expected my parents would not agree to pay. As we spoke, my friend came downstairs and called me aside. She told me she was looking for a suitcase when Kate burst in and lunged toward her, only stopping when she realized it was not me. My friend said she was scared and wanted to leave, and I felt frightened as well. I brought my friend to my parents to repeat what happened, and my mother just sighed. She told me to go if I wanted and to see how I would survive without them. I looked at my father, but he remained silent. I asked if I was allowed to leave, and he said I could, but that as long as I was not under his protection, I should not expect anything from them. My friend reassured me and said she would help pack. I asked my parents to have Kate come downstairs, but my mother said Kate could do whatever she wanted since she lived there. So my friend and I just went upstairs. My room was wide open and we hesitated to enter, but Kate was not there. I packed most of my clothes, though not everything, and then we left immediately. My friend and I then spoke to the school's housing office. I explained my entire situation, and they allowed me to stay in on-campus housing as long as I took summer classes or secured an internship. Since I am a freshman, an internship would be difficult, so I chose to take summer classes. I was also asked to speak with campus safety officers about my sister and the threats she had made. I plan to go tomorrow with Adam since we both have evidence, but today I had to get my things into the dorms and prepare for an evening class. I later called my father to discuss the fees and housing. I asked again if he truly would not pay for my fees or support other expenses. He said he would pay for tuition and housing, but I would have to manage everything else, like food and other necessities, which I think I can handle. Regarding pressing charges, I do not want to risk being cut off financially by my parents since I'm not yet able to pay my own fees. After I blocked my sister, she stopped bothering me. However, after my friend told me that Kate lunged at her, I became worried she might do the same to me. Many comments on my previous post described scenarios that made my sister seem even more frightening. Adam wants to file a restraining order against her. For some reason, he has not blocked Kate, just muted her, but he still reads her messages and sometimes forwards them to me, including screen recordings of her voice notes. Yes, Adam and I are actively communicating because we are facing the same problem. I just hope to receive protection from Kate, even if it means spending my entire summer at school. I'm not sure what will happen tomorrow, but for now, the school has said they are not letting anyone who is not authorized into the dorms, so I will be safe until then. To those criticizing me for not pressing charges earlier, I hope you understand that I completely depend on my parents right now. I feared that if I did, I would be cut off. After my final exams, I hope to get a job so I can earn some money and gradually grow more independent. This is my final update. Thank you for all the support. I am okay, and so is Adam. We will keep working to ensure we are both safe. As I mentioned, I will be starting finals on Thursday, so I will be very stressed and busy and might not be able to post another update or interact much with Kate. Sorry if this post feels scattered, I just wanted to explain everything clearly for everyone who has followed my story. Maybe I will try editing this again tomorrow and let you know what happens. Magdovis said, Adam doesn't have her blocked because he's collecting evidence. To this comment, user Cautious Rice said, Adam is smart, be like Adam. Mictalan Dark said, Kate needs psychiatric help and she needs a restraining order. Hobbit Lifestyle said, wow, those parents are absolutely useless. They are doing everything they can to make things worse for everyone. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video, and thank you also to partner of the channel, GamerSupps. Use code DLAM to support the channel and get 10% off of your purchase, link in the description. I'm sure many of you like me have a hankering for daily caffeine, so go check them out. Lately, I've been a big fan of Titty Milk and Acid Rain, but they've got dozens of other flavors for y'all to try out. Anyway, thanks again for reaching the end, and I hope you all have an amazing passage of the next 24 hours.